Hey, everybody. Keith Niebuhr with Gators Online, joined by our great baseball reporter, Nick Delatorre, who is in Omaha, Nebraska today. And we're going to talk about the Florida Gators' huge 5-4 win over NC State in an elimination game at the College World Series. And Nick, this was just another of a series of incredibly dramatic games for the Florida Gators. How did they pull this one off?
Yeah, well, you lean on your superstars. You get Jack Caglianone, who looks like he has some arm fatigue. He was down. His velocity was down last week at Clemson, down another couple ticks today. He only goes one inning, but gives you a 3-run home run in the second inning. And then you got to go to Brandon Neely, who it seems like anytime there's a leverage situation that Florida is turning to him and tapping him on the shoulder. He gives you the last 9 outs of the game. He's been sensational and just a workhorse for Florida this year. Nearly through 3 innings, gave up 1 hit, walked 1, and struck out 6 of the 11 batters he faced. So a 45-pitch performance. You're getting, they always say, Keith, and I even wrote it, you have to get some stories and performances from players that maybe haven't been the guys you leaned on all year to make a run to get to Omaha. And to win here, but tonight it was the guys that you knew you were going to need to step up that did it, and then Tyler Shelton hit what ended up being the difference-making home run into a 24-mile-an-hour wind here in Omaha. The wind is crazy.
Nick, it looks like you're trapped in solitary confinement here. Can you stand up? I want to show everybody. There's a little bit of a glare. There's what we're looking at right there. So Nick's in the radio booth right now, and you look at the beautiful stadium there. I almost said Rosenblatt Stadium, Nick. That tells you how old I am, but just an incredible setting. But, Nick, let me ask you this. If I would have told you, if we would have talked on the phone a few hours ago, and we didn't because we both have lives, but if we would have been talking on the phone and I would have said, hey, Florida's only getting 4 hits today, would you have thought they had any chance at all to win this game?
No, you could have said that Jack's only going to give you 1 inning on the mound, and I would have thought that sounds like trouble too. So you got to find ways to win, and when you have to come out of the losers bracket from game 1, Florida's going to have to play 4 straight games. They're going to have to win. They had to win Monday. They have to win Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. You're going to have to beat whoever wins this game tonight behind me, Kentucky and A&M. You're going to have to beat the winner of that twice. So you need guys to go deep into games. And one of my keys to the game that I wrote with our NC State side, the Wolfpacker, I said Florida needs a really good start from Jack, because you're not going to be able to overcome 1-inning starts, 2-inning starts. And Florida, we just broke the news there that Pierce Capalla is going to be starting on Tuesday night. He's only averaging 2 2/3, and some of that's been because he's been on a pitch count. But you need a good start from Pierce, because you can't keep going back to Brandon Neely. He's been sensational, Keith, but I don't know if you can put him in there for 40 pitches 4 days in a row. So he's going to need a day off at some point.
Because Caglianone only threw 33 pitches today, Nick, in 1 inning, and I should say gave up 1 run, 1 earned run, walked 2 guys, struck out 1, but 33 pitches. And I know he wasn't himself, but is there any scenario, if Florida survives and can continue to play and play more, that we could see him on the mound again before championship series? Like if it came down to it and they had to beat one of these teams twice and they needed an inning out of a guy, or is he just done right now? Is he done?
To me, it just looks like, listen, this is a guy you've asked to do a lot, not just this year, but over the last 2 years. And to me, it just looks like fatigue. His velocity, I've seen him throw up to 99 this season. He's typically going to sit between 93 and 95. The velocity ticked down last week at Clemson. And I think I might have even said on our message board and our game threads, which have been sensational in the NCAA tournament. So thank you to our members. Maybe he's just trying to dial it down because he knows he needs to have a longer start today. But when I see an 86-mile-an-hour fastball, I'm thinking that's just arm fatigue. And if Jack had come out because he walked 6 guys and they took him out, and that's why the pitch count was low, I think, yeah, sure, you can bring it back early. And the velocity was there and the fastball looked like it did. But no, I can't imagine the way it looked today, bringing him back on anything other than a full rest.
All right, Jack Caglianone, 3-run home run today. Correct me if I get any of this wrong. Cade Fisher, pretty solid 4 innings in relief. Quite frankly, you only gave up 4 hits, 3 runs, but all of them earned, 3 strikeouts. Clemente came in 1 inning, didn't allow any runs. Brandon Neely, I always say Brandon, I get his name wrong, Nick, correct me here. Brandon. Gosh, so you're the one that should be tired, not me. But so Brandon Neely gives you three innings of relief in the closing role, long close, by the way. Like you said, 3 innings, 6 strikeouts. 46 pitches, 31 of them were strikes. Shellnut hit a home run today, I believe. Anybody? Are we missing anybody? Is there an unsung hero out there, Nick, that you're like, they contributed a lot to this too, for whatever reason?
Tyler Shellnut's home run, he really struggled in game one. Florida's having some struggles. They've got 29 strikeouts in 2 games, which is a ton. It's, for me at least, it's been those guys. I think Cade Kurland struggled up until his last at bat and then got robbed. He would have had a ball that might have been 3 bases today if the right fielder doesn't make a diving catch. Like I said, the wind is crazy. The outfielders talking to them after the game. The guys from Florida said they'd never experienced playing in wind like this because it was like a swirling wind. Keith, it would be like playing an Amen Corner at Augusta if you notched the wind up to 24 miles an hour, because it was blowing in, then left to right, then right to left.
Well, I did play Carnoustie and the old course at St. Andrews with 40-mile-an-hour gusts. So, yes, that probably and by the way, didn't play him well. Nick, you've been there, I want to say, since last Wednesday in Omaha. You've been around, correct? Was that the day? You've been around this team a lot. They just got to be – is it – I think a lot of the fans are like, hey, man, everything now is just gravy, right? Everything is just icing on the cake, whatever, cliches you want to throw out there. But what is the mood of the team? Are they just – are you getting the feeling, hey, man, we're one of 6 teams left. This is great. Are you thinking – are these guys thinking, hey, man, they ain't ready to lay down or go home yet? What's the emotion and the mood of the team right now, the players and the coaches?
Yeah, let's start with something that I thought was really important. The first night game, Tennessee and FSU, 2 great ball clubs, a bunch of kicking the ball around, a bunch of nerves. Florida had some roster turnover, but they don't have those same nerves. These guys, a lot of these guys, the core players, Tyler Shellnut, Cade Fisher, even Pierce Capalla, who will start on Tuesday. He was here last year. Jack Caglianone, Cade Kurland. These guys understand what it's like to play on this stage. And I think that's a big factor, because you can play in some big atmospheres in the SEC, 11,000 at LSU, Arkansas, but it's 25,000 here. And you have a College World Series logo, like going on my hat, on your chest that you can't escape or run from, reminding you how big this stage is. And I think Florida, having been here last year, kind of can get away from that a little bit. Maybe that doesn't affect them as much. But I've asked the guys that question, like, hey, a lot of people didn't think you should be here. Are you playing with house money? Are you playing with, not afraid to lose because you have nothing to lose and you're the underdogs here? And I'm surprised I haven't gotten hit yet, Keith, because they're like, no, this is the University of Florida. This is where we're supposed to be. It doesn't matter what idiots like you say, Nick. This is our expectation every single year. So I haven't gotten that. At all. It is a really tight clubhouse, I'll say that. And I asked Tyler Shellnut, who's a senior, hey, how much is it just I don't want the season to end, and I don't want to stop playing with this group of guys who I enjoy playing with. And he said that's definitely something that's on their mind.
Nick, a couple more questions. And again, I'm Keith Neeb with Gators Online. This is our senior baseball writer and football writer, senior writer extraordinaire, Nick Delatorre. He's out in Omaha. He's been to Omaha many, many times, knows the lay of the land there, and knows this team better than anyone. Nick, Florida's sitting at 35-29. If they don't win that series at Georgia late in the regular season, they don't even make the NCAA tournament. They're not eligible to make the NCAA tournament. They had to win that series. Now they're one of the 6 teams left standing. Forget about all the highs and lows of the regular season. More lows than highs, if we're being totally honest here, for the Florida program. This season is an absolute success no matter what happens at this point. They're one of the final 6 teams standing. Now, we don't want to dig too much into who they would play because by the time we post this, that game will be underway. But it's going to be either Kentucky or Texas A&M. And it'll be an elimination. Yeah, it'll be an elimination game Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern time, I believe, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Before that game, Florida State is going to play North Carolina in an elimination game. At this point, what does Florida need to do? I mean, this is a pretty open-ended question, but what do they need to do to survive another day and live another day, Nick? What's got to happen?
I think another thing, playing in these elimination games, it's easy to be tight. Florida, essentially, you kind of referenced it there, Keith, has been playing in elimination games since, for the last 5 weeks. So I think, when they played against Kentucky and they lost to Kentucky, you go up to Georgia, you have to win that series, or you might not make it. They played 3 straight elimination games in Stillwater and won all 3 of those. They played in what might be the game of the year at Clemson, and were losing in extra innings. Luckily, the flip-flop of the home and away, Florida had a chance to walk it off, and they did. So it's just not a new situation for them. If it's Kentucky, Florida needs just to be able to fieldly clean the ball and not give Kentucky extra outs. They bunt, they hit and run, they slash, they steal. I think Kentucky has more stolen bases than Florida has base stealing attempts on the year. So it's a different brand of baseball than you play in the SEC.
Have you gone back and scraped your Twitter clean of all the negative comments throughout the season when they weren't playing well? Or, I mean, they were what they were.
No. If you find them, tweet them at me and I will own up to them.
Well, the reality of it is that they weren't playing well. They weren't doing the things that they've done the last few weeks. I think that's it, Nick. I think we've covered a lot of ground, man. We appreciate your great coverage out there. Let me do a little plug here right now for everybody watching this. Use the code UF1 to get 2 months of Gators Online for only $1. Again, the code UF1, 2 months of access to Gators Online for only $1. Just go to gatorsonline.com and look for the little the little button that says join. For Nick Delatorre, I am Keith Niebuhr. This was Talking Gators, kind of a rapid reaction combination of a bunch of different shows. Nick's doing a great job in Omaha. Make sure you follow him on Twitter and make sure you go to gatorsonline.com to get all his great content. Nick, we appreciate it. Be safe out there, have fun, and let's see what these boys can do.
Thanks.